Hey guys, welcome to Collider Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Ashley Mova, and this is the Daily Show, where we give you all the latest news from the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. Leading off the show today, host of Jedi Council, Kristian Harloff.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Collider Movie Talk. Going to be a lot of fun today. Who we got on the panel?
Also here, Jon Schnepp.
What's up? We're going to talk about Robin, right? Jason Todd is back in the new Suicide.
Also here, Mark Ellis.
I got to talk about something real quick. So the review's going to be out later today, but I'm telling you guys, and I crap you not, Bad Moms is funny.
Uh-oh.
It is funny.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I believe it.
What's first?
A favorite fan theory regarding the Joker and his true identity has never gone away, with a lot of DC fans. During the development and production period of Suicide Squad, speculation ran rampant about what the movie would and wouldn't include and how it might connect to the overall DC extended universe. As the release of Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice inched closer, one theory that wouldn't die hinged on the true identity of Jared Leto's Joker. Many believe that the Joker in Suicide Squad is actually Jason Todd, Batman's former Robin, who is killed by the Joker only to return as the Red Hood. Well, if you are a fan of this theory, Suicide Squad writer-director David Ayer doesn't really care. Speaking with WSVN TV about Suicide Squad, he addressed the theory head-on and succinctly shut it down by pointing to the camera and saying, "It ain't the case. He's not." As to who Jared Leto's Joker really is, we won't have to wait long. Suicide Squad opens in theaters next week on August 5th. Kristian, did you ever believe this fan theory about Jared Leto's Joker?
No, and no offense to anyone that did, but I thought it was stupid. I didn't like it. I didn't like the theory at all. I thought it was a ridiculous theory that's kind of spread like wildfire, and I'm glad that Ayer just squashed it. We don't need everything to kind of tie in. If he's just some crazy maniac and he's the Joker, then he's the Joker. Let's find out. I'm excited to find out who the hell he is, if he's anybody at all. Just be the damn Joker. Be a great Joker. And I don't even think he's going to be in the movie that much. I don't need him to be in it that much. I just need him to have a little bit of an impact because I really want to focus on the Suicide Squad anyway. So for me, no, I never bought into it, and I'm glad that it was false. Schnepp?
Yeah, I mean, if you come from the comic books, like, the Joker killed Jason Todd. So, if they were going to try to flip it around, I remember seeing some fan theories maybe a year or so ago about, like, the bullet holes in the, in the costume from the Robin outfit or also match up with the Joker tattoo areas. And that doesn't mean anything, really. I mean, the Joker being Jason Todd would be, I think, a bad idea for the new Batman movies to force that mythology of, like, the person that worked with Batman like somehow betrayed him like that.
And there's also no relationship in the movies yet with Jason Todd for movie fans to connect with. So
there's
really
no Robin for them to connect to. I just think it's like it was a weird fan theory when I first heard about it. Never believed it. Still never believed it. Glad to hear that the director also just shot it down and said it's stupid.
Nah, man, he's totally Jason Todd. Yeah, I'm sticking with it. No, I never really bought into this. I never really paid it much mind. And to hear David Ayer say that, it's not like it. Most other directors, when they shoot down a theory, you're like, wait, are you just playing the cards close to your vest? I don't think David Ayer plays his game like that. I think that David Ayer is a guy who's going to come at you. He's a straight shooter, and he's going to be like, no, this is totally not the case. The bigger question I have is something that Kristian alluded to is, do you think we're going to get any origin story for the Joker? Well, not that we need one. Right. We kind of had one in 1989's Batman. We got literally nothing from The Dark Knight. Either way, they both played it great, so I don't know that we need that. I think he's going to be like the Jurassic Park dinosaurs of this movie, where you don't necessarily see him on screen for a lot, but there's going to be a rippling effect that he has throughout the movie.
Yeah, I don't want to see his origin, especially in Suicide Squad. You're right. I mean, I want to see the movie about the Suicide Squad. I'm sure the Joker will be like some other thing they have to deal with because he's trying to get Harley back. It's like that's as much as of the Joker. I don't need to see an origin story. I'd rather see the origin story for Harley Quinn, and it sounds like that's what we're going to get in this from watching the trailers. Let the Joker, be the Joker and do the origin in the Batman film if you have to.
I think the origin is that he tried to get Ashley's phone number at a bar.
I was going to make a joke. I was going to say he's actually my husband.
Yeah, and then when that didn't work out so well, then he started tattooing his face and he got really pale.
She did wave to him from across the party.
I hate you guys. It's because he lost my number. It's no big deal. It's no big deal.
All right, what's next?
Ryan Coogler didn't reveal all that much about his latest movie, Black Panther, while he was on stage for Marvel's Hall H panel at San Diego Comic-Con. However, newly cast Lupita Nyong'o did reveal the first plot details while making the rounds on the press line after the panel. At the Marvel presentation, we learned that The Walking Dead's Denai Guerrera and Nyong'o play Okoye and Nakia, members of Wakanda's elite special force unit called the Dora Milaje. While chatting with Marvel.com, Nyong'o also revealed the following. The story is that the Black Panther's leadership is really threatened by two foes who come together, and so Black Panther gets the help of the CIA and the Dora Milaje to try and defeat the enemy. Michael B. Jordan was revealed to be one of these foes, with fans wondering if the other is Ulysses Klaue, who was played by Andy Serkis in Avengers Age of Ultron. For now, fans are left with only speculation until Black Panther opens on July 6, 2018. Schnepp, what did you think about the plot details revealed for Black Panther?
I think it's great, and when they mention the two foes, you know the other foe is going to be Klaue. That's a no-brainer. So
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's not even, you don't even have to think really about it. That's just what's happening. Just forget about like what I wonder who the other second one is. It's Klaue. Just forget about thinking. You don't even have to think about it. Anyway, Chadwick Boseman's awesome. I got a chance to talk to him at Comic-Con. I'm sure that's up at the Collider thing, but up on the video news area. But yeah, it's Klaue.
Yeah, I think it's Klaue also, and it's cool to see they announced Michael B. Jordan as the other. I want to see Michael B. Jordan play a villain. I don't know if we've seen that. Have we?
Not really, no.
I mean, I know that he's played troubled characters before, but I don't know, straight out villain. I don't remember seeing that yet. So I want to see him do that. I've also the fact that he's worked with Coogler before, and that Coogler can get so much out of him. That will be interesting. But yes, I agree with you, Schnepp. I think that Andy Serkis, and they've been very quiet on it. They haven't said anything yet. Why do you introduce Andy Serkis in Ultron if you're not going to use him? If you're going to use him for that brief scene, of course you're going to use him in the Black Panther movie. So I think that it's guaranteed that he's going to be in it. It'll be both Klaue and then
they team up together.
They'll team up together. But I think that it's also to hear Lupita Nyong'o talking about this group of also you're watching her kick ass again will be fun. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what Joss Whedon was alluding to when he was like, I was a little handcuffed by Marvel because I had a movie I wanted to make in Avengers Age of Ultron, and I wasn't able to do exactly that because I had to shoehorn some other things in there, maybe with the, hot tub Thor machine that's going to relate to Ragnarok somehow, or with Klaue, whether it's going to go into Black Panther. So it makes a lot of sense. I don't know that we're going to look back on Ultron and be like, oh, now that scene totally needed to be in there, but if it led to him being the other villain in Black Panther, it's all worthwhile to me. I would love to see Andy Serkis be a bigger part of this already huge universe.
Well, remember, he lost his arm in Age of Ultron, which,
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, superheroes can grow those things back by Wednesday. Right.
All right, what's next?
Ubisoft continues putting together a feature film adaptation of their popular The Division series of video games, which began by enlisting Jake Gyllenhaal to star and produce. Now add one more Oscar nominee to the lineup. According to a report from THR, Jessica Chastain is in talks to co-star opposite Gyllenhaal in the adaptation, which is based on Ubisoft's fastest-selling game in history. Tom Clancy's The Division was released on game consoles back in March and quickly became Ubisoft's best-selling game ever, generating an estimated $330 million globally in just the first week of release. The game is set in New York City during the aftermath of a smallpox pandemic, with the player portraying an agent of the Strategic Homeland Division who is tasked with helping to rebuild the division's operations in a deserted and crime-riddled Manhattan. A release date has yet to be set. Mark, what do you think about Jessica Chastain possibly joining Jake Gyllenhaal in The Division?
I think that The Division is going to be the movie that saves video game fans and launches us into a new generation of great video game movies. If Warcraft didn't do it and Assassin's Creed doesn't do it and all these other games coming out. But this sounds awesome, man. Jake Gyllenhaal, who has been in a video game movie before,
Prince of Persia.
Very good. And Jessica Chastain, I love when talent gets added to something that I'm already intrigued about. This is the fastest selling video game in history, so it makes sense that you want to make a movie out of it. Sounds like cool plot material, but what concerns me is reading that it sounds like a lot of movies I've seen before. It has a 28 days later, 28 weeks later kind of vibe to it. Not necessarily a World War Z thing, an I Am Legend kind of vibe, a different spin on it. So it makes me nervous that it's going to be treading over some familiar ground, but hopefully if you have this kind of talent on board in front of the camera, you also have a cool story that feels new behind the scenes.
Yeah, I agree with you. I love it. I love the fact that they were getting Jessica Chastain in this, because what it shows to me is, look, are we still in a place where video game movies need to shine? Yes. Did Warcraft do it? No. We don't know about Assassin's Creed yet, but Warcraft, Assassin's Creed, and this movie are doing things that old video game movies didn't really do, and that's getting all top tier talent. Wait before you go, well, wait a minute, Mark Wahlberg and The Rock have been in video game movies. I get it, but this is a different kind of cast that they're surrounding them with. Also, it's just like furthering talent. They're not just going after one big star. So by putting in a Gyllenhaal and Chastain together, it ups the ante. I think
Mortal Kombat had Christopher Lambert.
You prove my point.
A-lister.
Yeah, but who was he surrounded by? Right. So as you
Skittles,
as
Juicy
you move,
Fruit,
as you
Pom
move
Pom,
forward,
Fibblefim,
Scrambles, and FU.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, so yeah, it makes a lot of sense that they would do this, and this game. Popular is an understatement of how much this thing made. So I'm glad to see that they're doing this.
Me too. Jessica
Good.
Chastain's awesome.
Cool. Oh, there you go. All right, now it's time for.
Are we on a time limit?
I know.
No, you guys just covered. I was going to say a bunch of stuff that you said, so I don't want to repeat
Welcome
it.
to 15-minute movie talk.
Jessica Chastain, thumbs up.
Moving on to buy or sell. Ashley is going to read more in the world of the movie news, and me, Ellis, and Quickshot are going to go as fast as we can, I guess, and cover either buy or sell. What do you got?
In the weeks leading up to the release of 2015's Avengers: Age of Ultron, interviews with Joss Whedon revealed that he was very happy to be getting out of the superhero movie game. During various set visit reports, Whedon was revealed to be exhausted and seemingly beat down by the process of making a $200 million spectacle. Soon after Ultron hit theaters, Whedon was saying that he'd never direct a superhero movie again, but there is one character Whedon says could possibly pull him back into the Marvel fold: Black Widow, played by Scarlett Johansson. Though there are currently no plans to make a Black Widow movie, Kevin Feige has hinted at a standalone movie for quite some time now. Whedon discussed this potential with IGN recently, saying, "I think that character really is very interesting and very earthbound, so it's the kind of action that I got to do less of with somebody like Thor or The Vision. When you get into your Superman territory, it's harder to maintain the gritty action that the Russo brothers do so brilliantly, and she's got that kind of thing, and you can really do a spy thriller, like really do a good paranoid Jean Le Carré on crack sort of thing. That would be really fun." Kristian, buy or sell a Black Widow movie directed by Joss Whedon?
Now, like I said, I appreciate Joss Whedon very much. I think that Ultron was a misstep for sure. I think sometimes he says things in the media that it's like, I don't know. Sometimes he talks too much. That being said, huge buy for this. I think that he is perfect to direct a Black Widow movie. I think that he knows the character, he's directed the character before, and he also does strong women very, very well. He's done it in the past. It's kind of what he's made his career off of. Right. So it would make a lot of sense for him to do that. I like his take already about the spy thriller and to really kind of focus more in on her, because I initially didn't think they needed a Black Widow movie, but then hearing more about it, it could be very interesting, and to see that Joss Whedon would be excited to do that, and that he's not just kind of contracted to do it, and that he would be excited to do it. It's a buy. Mark?
Buy.
Did you talk to him about this?
I did not know. No. Whedon hopped on the couch at Nerd HQ for like 2 seconds. He looked tired as hell, so we didn't really want to press him about anything. But having said all that, if Whedon was to come back into the Marvel fold, somehow this is the way to do it. It's not a huge buy for me because I don't know that this is going to happen, because you just look at the Marvel slate and it's pretty jam-packed until 2020 would be the first time that anybody has room to breathe, because they're already starting to work on Avengers Infinity War Part 1 and 2. It's just a matter of getting the timing right. But if it's that far down the road, then I can buy it. I think it sounds great. It sounds very intriguing. Sounds actually like something that I wouldn't hate seeing on Netflix as a series versus just one standalone movie. So I can buy it. It's not a huge buy for me, even though I would be interested in seeing that flick.
I'd like to see him do it. I mean, I think the idea of like using Black Widow, but kind of like taking that covert ops, spy, James Bond kind of thing, and making a Marvel movie with that, with that spin on it, with Black Widow. And Joss Whedon is the perfect guy to do it. I mean, just outside of just all the Buffy stuff that he's done, I mean, he's just a great writer and he knows the characters. And when he's dealing with a smaller set of characters instead of such a large group like Age of Ultron, where he's juggling all these different stories. I think he's the guy to do it. So I'd love to see him do Black Widow.
But when do you make the movie?
You'd have to make it in between Avengers, the double Infinity Wars, whatever they're going to call those.
You would have it released?
No, I would shoot it between
them?
those two because they're shooting for such a long block of time. There's a lot of breaks in between for different actors where she could pop off and do like a 2-month shoot to do the Black Widow thing, and they could just do it, quiet.
It's I mean, you really wonder how much Joss Whedon knows what the fallout from Infinity War Part 1 and 2 are going to be. Right. If you know that, if he already is aware of everything that's going to happen, which characters die, which characters live on, who has a storyline that will manifest itself in a standalone going forwards. If he has access to that information, which you got to think him and Kevin Feige have discussions about this, and Feige's like, well, yeah, if you wanted to do a standalone movie, maybe I'm steering you towards Black Widow because I know how well you work with strong female characters anyway. So it's just a matter of whether Joss Whedon has all that information already.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
The first Bad Santa 2 teaser has made its way online and looks to not have strayed too far from the original R-rated comedy that captured audiences 13 years ago. Billy Bob Thornton returns as the beloved mall Santa, who is the furthest thing from Father Christmas there is. The first preview shows the seasonal employee sleeping on the job, with the movie again following Thornton's criminal character as he and his mom attempt to fraud a charity out of money. Bad Santa 2 is directed by Mean Girls director Mark Waters. It hits theaters on November 23rd. Schnepp, buy or sell the first teaser for Bad Santa 2.
Every Christmas, I watch 2 movies. One of them's called Rare Exports. It's about an evil Santa buried in ice. And the other one is Bad Santa. It's one of my favorite all-time Christmas movies. I cannot wait to see Bad Santa 2.
I feel like you could have played Bad Santa.
I could almost be Bad Santa, but Billy Bob has got it so down.
Yeah.
When I heard that they were making a Bad Santa 2, I was like, just tell me when is it coming out, because I cannot wait to see it. And I'm hoping that it carries the same mean-spirited awesomeness that the first one did, with that touch of gold at the end. I have high hopes for this. This trailer, this little teaser, it's okay. It hits a lot of the buttons from the first film, so you're not really seeing anything new. It's just literally saying, look, Billy Bob Thornton is back as Bad Santa. Here we go. So for that reason, I'm buying it.
I understand the buy, especially for someone who loves it as much. I thought the first one's really funny, but I'm selling the trailer. I just think it's a little too late at this point, and there's really nothing in this trailer right now that made me laugh. It's a teaser. It's just him sitting on the thing, passed out. Okay, we're going to get a lot what we got in the first. Am I interested that they're doing a second one? Yes, I do. I think that it's interesting that they're going to do it, and if they can hit the comedy and it's fresh, sure. What's it, 13, 14 years later?
13 years.
I just don't know. I think that I start to see Zoolander in my head as far as like sequels that maybe it's kind of past its time. But the trailer didn't do anything for me particularly, so I'm going to sell it.
I'll buy it because I don't think it's going to have that. You don't worry about the age like you do with the Zoolander 2 or a Dumb and Dumber 2. It feels like you can eternally wake up Billy Bob Thornton and he can be this character. Now, while the teaser trailer wasn't great, it was like we were watching an outtake from the first Bad Santa. It's something that easily could have fit into there, but I think the huge fans of Bad Santa, which I think the movie's funny. I need to rewatch it again because Schnepp was selling me so hard on it in the pre-production meeting. You were getting very, very, very drippy about how funny that movie was, so I will check it out again. So I'm up for it. I think that fans are going to love it.
A very young Mark Ellis, he was like 11 maybe when he saw Bad Santa. When it came out, you were really young. So it's like, if you haven't seen
31.
it,
I was 4 years old when Bad Santa came out.
Like literally a little baby Ellis.
But here's what Bad
Finstock's
Santa did,
favorite
though, is that Bad Santa was one of those movies that helped kick off this new wave that we have of R-rated comedies that are very crass, that are very crude. The reason why we have movies like The Hangover and like Bad Moms or even something like Bridesmaids is that Bad Santa was one of the first movies to be like, no, we're going to get a hard R rating. We're going to be really crass, and it's going to be very funny. So now in this new climate, I think Bad Santa 2 might be able to push the envelope even further. Yeah. So that could be really funny. It's something I will be looking forward to this Christmas.
All right, what's next?
It must be Christmas in July because another Christmas-themed trailer dropped yesterday, this time for Office Christmas Party. Though there looks to be plenty of storylines being followed throughout the comedy from the Switch directors Will Speck and Josh Gordon, the main focus is on the massive, chaotic holiday party that prompts several seemingly bored workers to lose their ever-loving minds. The movie stars Jason Bateman, Jennifer Aniston, TJ Miller, Kate McKinnon, and Courtney B. Vance. It arrives in theaters nationwide on December 9th. Mark, buy or sell the new trailer for Office Christmas Party?
It's a buy, and you pretty much had me on the name alone. Office Christmas Party as just a crazy madcap comedy taking place over the course of one night where a lot of hijinks ensue. And then you give me this cast, and how can I say no to it? The trailer made me laugh. Jason Bateman and Jennifer Aniston are two people who work very well together in comedies. I'm not just talking about
with the same director.
Horrible Bosses, but I'm also talking about The Switch.
Yeah, same director.
The Switch, it didn't do that well, and people didn't like it for whatever. I thought they were great in The Switch together. And then you throw in TJ Miller, who's hysterical. You throw in Kate McKinnon, who I really liked in Ghostbusters. The cast is great. The movie premise is awesome for comedy. So, yeah, I'm totally in.
I'm going to tentatively buy it because, for the reasons that you're saying, I think that the cast alone, the fact that Aniston and Bateman have worked together with the director in The Switch before, which I agree with you. I actually liked, pretty underrated film. But you and I talked about this, Schnepp. You could see where this movie could turn out a lot of laughs, or it could be a total crap fest.
No, it's a risk.
It's a risk. It's a big risk. The premise is funny, though. I mean, it's ultimately kind of what they did with The Hangover, and putting it in the Christmas party setting. And I think that you can have a lot of fun with it. And I think there can be some screaming, laughing moments, but there's also be like, they just went for the poop and the sex jokes.
Yeah.
Like,
and the guy falling off a thing and hurting himself. Which we all laughed when we saw it. I laughed,
but how many of those moments are there? Are they going to get lazy? That's always the risk with comedy.
Yeah.
And like, look, we've had a debate about that stupid Vacation reboot or retelling, whatever the hell that dumb thing was.
Horrible.
Some people actually found that movie funny. So you never know who's going to find what funny. But for me, I'm hopeful because of the cast.
Yeah, I'm going to half buy it if I can half buy it.
Nope.
No?
Nope.
All right, I'll just use the tentatively buy it.
Yeah.
Put it on layaway.
Still 51% bought. Yeah, because of what Kristian said, he watched it, I watched it, and it felt the same way. It's like it could be bust a gut, laugh out loud, funny the whole way through, or it could be like just showed you the highlights in this trailer and everything else is like doesn't really work. I'm hoping it's not that case. I'm hoping it really is really funny. So that's why I'm tentatively buying it.
All right, well, that's it as far as everything on buy or sell. Now it's time to go on over to the Wendy Cam and find out what you guys have been saying in the chat room about our main topics and then our buy or sell. Wendy, what are they saying?
Well, they're saying a lot about the Joker fan theory for Suicide Squad. A lot of people are saying that it was a pretty ridiculous theory and it really never made any sense. They appreciate David Ayer coming out to squash it. Sweet Gore says people who actually believe Jason is Joker don't read the actual comic books. And Gonzalo Aguilar Figueroa says the theory wasn't good, but the only thing that gave me hope about this movie was that the Joker was a former Robin. So this movie, parentheses, as far as the trailer goes, sucks. And for buy or sell...
Okay.
All right, then. Joss Whedon could be returning for a solo Black Widow movie. Chat was very divided on this. There's some are buying because they're saying Joss knows how to direct strong female characters. Others are selling because they don't think Black Widow needs a standalone and that Joss ruined the character and they would rather see a Black Widow directed by the Russos.
Well, there you go. Split on Joss. Well, now it's time for AMC Rewind. That's right. Everything that came out 10 or 20 years ago brought to you by our friends over at AMC. Ashley, what came out 10 or 20 years ago?
10 years ago, there was Miami Vice and John Tucker Must Die. And 20 years ago, there was Kingpin and Joe's Apartment.
All right, Schnepp, you're going to take the one that everybody wants to take, so I'll let you go first.
What's up, Kingpin? Yeah. I mean, that's the one out of 20, 10, 30, 40 years. Kingpin is the one that's going to really knock you out because it's hilarious. I mean, that's where Woody Harrelson proved his comedy chops like no other. You had Randy Quaid as some kind of bizarre... not a pilgrim. Amish, thank you. It was Amish. I just couldn't remember. And then, of course, the evil Bill Murray. I mean, there are so many amazing moments in Kingpin. I absolutely love that film. I've watched it probably 20 times. So, the 20th anniversary, 20 times. If you haven't seen Kingpin, I only have to say you are missing out on laughing and enjoying an incredible film. The other one that sticks out to me is Joe's Apartment. That was MTV's very first feature film, was based off the series. So, and it's really crazy and weird and has cockroaches in it. You'll love it. Really, Kingpin is the one to see, and then Joe's Apartment.
The one that I remember, but I didn't necessarily love, was Miami Vice, because Michael Mann, who, you had Heat, which is one of my favorite movies of all time, and then you hear Colin Farrell's going to be in the movie with Jamie Foxx. I was like, okay, this could be something pretty interesting, and it was a real letdown. Right. It was a real letdown, because I remember them talking about doing 2-3 movies of this thing, and everyone, after the first one was like, nah. No. It had the potential to be something special. It just wasn't. So that's the one that I think of, and I can't believe it was 10 years ago.
Totally Kingpin for me, man. I mean, that is apex Farrelly Brothers, in between Dumb and Dumber, and it might have been right after it's before There's Something About Mary.
Was it?
Because there's something about Mary, I think, was 97. And Kingpin was the year before.
Oh, right.
Kingpin is so funny. Woody Harrelson and Randy Quaid are great, but you're right. Bill Murray as Big Earn McCracken, framing that movie at the beginning, at the end, being the bookend of it, it's just one of the best comedic performances. Yet another notch on the belt of Bill Murray, one of the best comedic actors of all time, if not the greatest. But Joe's Apartment, when I started working at the Carmike Cinemas in Williamsburg, Virginia, my first week on the job, they give you the vest. And, and on the vest, they wanted flair, they wanted buttons, and they had Joe's Apartment buttons. And I remember watching the shorts on MTV, so I still have it to this day in my closet in Virginia.
Nice.
I have the vest, and I have the Joe's Apartment button hanging right there. Never seen the movie, but good memories.
Ashley, there's one that sticks out to you.
Oh, yeah, of course. John Tucker Must Die. When I was a kid, I loved this movie, but it's just filled with actors that, like, where have you gone?
Yeah.
It's pretty sad. There's this one girl I cannot remember.
Jesse Metcalf is the lead, right?
Ariel Kebbel. Like, what is she
That looks
been
like
up
Kristen
to?
Bell. Is that Kristen Bell with the brunette?
No, that's Sophia Bush, I think.
Yeah, it's Sophia Bush. I mean, what has she been up to? I mean, I think she's doing like TV series and stuff. And Brittany Snow, good for her, still in Pitch Perfect. Get it, girl. But yeah, I used to love that movie.
The lead dude in John Tucker Must Die
what's
looks
he
like a young Mark Paul Gosselaar.
Oh.
Zach Morris.
Yeah, that's all right. That's
That's
what.
keeping score.
Pulling out those names.
Well, that's everything from 10 and 20 years ago. A thank you to our friends over at AMC. That was AMC Rewind. Now, before we get into mailbag, we're going to be doing live Twitter questions, so make sure that you guys are tweeting at Collider Video and making sure that you at Ashley Mova and let her know that you're being nice as you submit these questions, and then she will be nice and put them on there.
Let her know you're being like, Ashley,
I'm being nice
right now.
I'm being
No, I
nice. You
would
should
love
actually
that.
start with that. You should start with
I
I'm
would love
being
that.
nice here.
Ashley, I bought the drink
dot.
that you drink with exactly the
I
lime
would
in the
love that.
corner. I bought the drink that you drink.
Knew how to squeeze the
I
line.
knew
ever
exactly
so
what you
slightly.
wanted in the drink.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, maybe now it's time to go to mailbag, to where you guys have submitted your questions, and we're going to read some of them. Ashley, put the lime in the coconut. What do you got?
Dre Espinoza writes, "Hey Collider crew, as I've been thinking more about James Cameron's Avatar and how stunning its visual effects were in 2009 and how they contributed significantly to its box office, do you guys believe that the Avatar sequel will have better cutting-edge visual effects that can captivate and attract audiences as significantly as the first movie did? Thanks for taking my question."
You know, it's easy to say. I don't know. The first one was just blew everybody's minds. You didn't see it coming, so it's going to be hard to do that again. It's James Cameron. He does it all the time. He did it with Terminator 2. He did it with Terminator. He did it with
Abyss.
Aliens. He
The
did it
Abyss.
with The Abyss.
Titanic, man.
Did it
Them
with
dolphins
Titanic.
look real.
But everything that he's done, he had, and there's a reason why he takes such big breaks, and there's a reason why, even if you think it's a bit excessive that he's doing 4 new sequels, it's just hard to doubt him. It's hard to doubt him, and it's hard to not say he has this vision of what he wants to do. And so when the movie comes out, yeah, he's probably going to knock us all on our asses with the new technology, because that's what he's been working. He's been working on these type of things forever. So he's always working on ways to wow you. He doesn't just do things to just tell a story. He does it to enhance the experience every single time. So I do think it's possible. What do you think?
I'm going to doubt you, Jimmy. Not
Yeah?
because I don't believe in your talent, not because I'm not excited about the new Avatar movies somewhat, but I think that these new Avatar movies, this trip back to Pandora, is going to be more focused on developing the mythology, the story, because it was so revolutionary in 2009. It's nothing against the effects that have developed since then. I just don't think that you can blow people away the same way you did in the first Avatar, unless you walk into that theater and they give you one of those VFX headsets,
Right.
and you're walking and you can look all the way around. That's the only way that you can top what he was able to do in the first Avatar. I believe in him. I hope the movies are good. It's no slight to James Cameron that I'm saying this. I just don't think that you can wow people and blow them away in the same fashion you did with the 2009 Avatar.
I think you can, not without using the VR headset. I think it's Cameron is like unique, a very unique filmmaker, because not only is he special effects driven and technology driven, but he's really story driven. He writes his own screenplays that he directs, and this world that he created, he really believes in it, and he wanted to make. That's why the Avatar sequels kept expanding,
Right.
because he really kind of expanded the storyline. We don't know what the exact storyline is, but we know that he's created this entire world, which in science fiction are always metaphorical statements about our Earth. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to bring to the table as far as storytelling, but also visually. The 3D work that was 2009, that was kind of right on the cusp, the return of 3D. And now everything we go to, all the blockbusters are 3D. this is the guy who revolutionized it. When I saw that film, I still haven't seen a 3D movie that was better than that movie in 2009. He's going to bring that plus so much more that we've gotten with the advances of 3D technology now. So I think we'll be blown away. When that new Avatar comes out, I think they'll probably do a refresher of the first 2009 Avatar, redo some of the special effects, redo some of the 3D, and re-release it like maybe 6 months before they release the second Avatar, just to get people back in the flow of it. But I really think it's going to knock our socks
You know what it
off.
might be? I think the big revolution with these new Avatar movies might be the way that you can shoot them and streamline the operation a little bit more. So we as fans might not notice a huge difference on screen,
Right.
but working with the actors and being able to shoot all these movies back to back to back might be a lot easier to do now than it was, almost 10 years ago.
Let me also add, it's like because we've had so many other filmmakers and other technology groups working on 3D, we've discovered the things that you don't do. Like, the frame rate on this when you have a close-up and two people running. So there's certain things that might not have worked as great in the first Avatar that they were like, we won't do that again, or we know how to do it better. So those are things I'm looking forward to.
I will say though that it might be hard to wow us with every sequel that comes out.
Right.
Like the second, the one that comes out first. That one has the most possibility. Because I guess they come out like every year,
Sure.
so I assume they're all going to kind of look the same.
Yeah.
Either way, man, it's a large popcorn every time. It's 1,000 calories I'll be consuming in
Every
each one of
time.
these
1,000?
Avatar movies. 1,000 in a
Wow.
large bucket of corn.
And
That's
he
at
crushes
least
it by
1,000.
himself. Very
wanna
selfish
know.
with that corn. Very
So
selfish.
selfish with that
No.
corn.
All right, what's
I've
next?
been more than generous with my cornage with you, sir.
All right, what's next?
Jordan Hanley writes, "Hey Collider crew, I've been rocking this channel since the AMC days and watch religiously, so keep up the great work. Question, which movie is better? A movie that you rated a 5 out of 5 but would probably never rewatch, example, $1 Million Baby, or a movie you rated 3 out of 5 but seem to enjoy watching on a regular basis as a guilty pleasure, example, Commando. Cheers, folks, for answering my question and keep on rocking. Kind regards, Jordan Hanley."
Well, I have to be honest with you. Commando is not a 3 out of 5. Commando, as an action film, is a 5 out of 5. He will tell you. He will tell you.
Listen,
His
Arnold.
Hands chopped off, everything. Just going. It's fantastic.
Get to the chopper. That's another
Arnold,
movie.
I can't quite sign off on the fact that your movie focuses on a guy who goes to a sporting goods store
Yes.
and loads up from a sporting good. Like he goes to Dick's Sporting Goods and then he dominates an entire country with the weaponry he finds.
There's
there.
a secret stash in the back. You have to know where you are, who you're talking to. When you
Right.
drive in, you go, you get the guns, and you chop off arms and heads.
So I would rather rewatch Commando right now than $1 Million Baby.
Kristian in your
Yeah,
ear.
with Kristian talking as Arnold as while I'm watching Arnold. I mean, you know what? For myself, like I love really great films like Requiem for a Dream. Incredible movie. Do I really want to see it again and get really depressed and almost suicidal because it is such a harsh look at life, especially that lady up in the apartment when she's on those prescription drugs. It's a bummer. So it's an incredible film. I highly recommend. There's like a list of like over 100 films that you must see, and that's on the list. But there's also, it's not really a guilty pleasure. It's more so I enjoyed being in this world of this movie, and I'm going to return to it. Like I said, I see Bad Santa every Christmas. There's certain films that you return to because they make you laugh or they make you think about stuff, but it's like not like this, unless you're really into the films that make you really bummed out, then see Requiem for a Dream. There's a whole list of those. So.
Yeah, it just depends also what you're in the mood for.
Yeah.
I mean, if you just, like you said, there's sometimes you want to watch a 3 out of 5 movie and just to kind of turn your brain off and watch it, or you're just looking to have just that kind of enjoyable time. There's other times where you want to really lock in to a 5 out of 5, or there are some like for me, Inception's a 5 out of 5. I love it, and I think that mixes both.
Sure.
So it just depends on you. It depends on your taste.
But it also seems like the question is more like, can you guys really like love serious movies as much as you love just fun popcorn movies?
Right.
And I don't think that they're mutually exclusive necessarily. Like
Right.
Avengers for me is 5 out of 5, and I can rewatch that movie all day long. There are other like $1 Million Baby where it's not Saturday afternoon. I'm like, oh yeah, let's just have a good cry for 2.5 hours. So more often than not, what I'd love to see is like a list of the 100 greatest movies of all time, and then a list of the 100 most rewatchable movies of all time. Those are going to be vastly different lists.
Definitely.
But Tango and Cash should be on both of them.
And Nathan, I hate you too.
All right, so let's get to Twitter. It is live Twitter questions, and you guys have been submitting some. Ashley, have they been starting with nice?
They really have been. They have been. Okay, Michael Martinez writes, any word on James Wan's Mortal Kombat reboot?
No, but it sounds fantastic.
You know, I got to bring this topic up with James Wan when I interviewed him at WonderCon for Collider, and I just mentioned like Mortal Kombat is huge. There is definitely something in the works. I don't know that James Wan is going to be directing it, but it might come from his production company, Atomic Monster. He definitely wants to make a movie. He cares about this property. He's got a lot on his plate right now, but I think that James Wan, or at least his visionary production company, would be the right choice to reboot the classic Oscar-winning film Mortal Kombat.
I would love if James Wan directed it. Are you kidding me? It goes back to what we were just talking about before, when you think that you talk about a guy that what he's just done with the horror genre is getting away from the kind of typical paint by numbers, just go for the scares. He's done a lot more to that with both Conjuring 2, and even the first Saw. But like, I want to see what he does with a video game movie. I know that it's his company most likely that's going to do it, but please direct it.
When we were at Hall H, or when I was in Hall H for that the DC Warner panel, he got one of the biggest pops of anybody that day when he came on stage, and they were talking about Aquaman for a minute. Like, people are excited to see what James Wan does with Aquaman. Imagine what he could do with Mortal Kombat.
Well, he's online to do like Robotech, so I'm sure like after Aquaman he's going to do probably Conjuring 3 and then Robotech. So I'm looking forward to what his company does, because he's probably got a really cool spin on Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. All right. What's next?
Curious George writes, what's a movie you rewatched recently where you realize a famous actor or actress is in it?
Oh man, that happened recently. I can't remember which is the one. Shoot.
I got a good one. Damn, who's the guy who's in the Collateral? There's a dude at the end of Collateral.
Ruffalo.
Is it Ruffalo?
Yeah, Ruffalo's
it pops into Collateral at the end.
Well, he's not in the end. He's the cop in the movie.
Yeah, no, there's somebody else that pops in. It's like Javier Bardem or somebody like that, where it's like, oh, wait, hey, that guy's in that movie too.
Not Collateral Damage with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No,
jeez. Oh boy, there you go.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was like, I'd have to think about it because I can't.
Kevin Bacon in Friday the 13th.
No, that's a good
just
one.
kidding.
Corey Feldman in Gremlins.
Hey, Johnny Depp in Nightmare on Elm Street.
How about Paul Rubens as the waiter in the Blues Brothers? Before the Pee Wee Herman character hit the big screen, he was a waiter in Blues Brothers.
All right, what's next?
Paul Rudd in Clueless. That blew. I was
Nice.
Clueless, and I was like, Paul Rudd is in Clueless.
Really?
That blew my mind.
Wow.
Yeah,
He's
you know
the
Paul
cousin,
Rudd, he's an immortal vampire. He never ages.
There's a weird relationship with him and Alicia Silverstone in Clueless, because aren't they cousins?
I know.
But then they end
they're
up like almost making out
yeah,
one time.
it's really
That's
weird.
a
It's really
great
weird.
one, by the way, because the second you said this, Nora and Rad 2 Turbo, I remembered it, but I wouldn't have told you that he was in it. Lethal Weapon 2 has Hank from Breaking Bad. He absolutely is in that movie.
Thank you, Silver Surfer.
He's one of the crew that the Germans wound up killing. Like, yeah. He's part of like Riggs's one of the cops. Yeah. All right, what's next?
Ben Berkowitz writes, favorite inappropriate holiday movie.
Inappropriate holiday movie.
I got another one from the previous question. Patrick Stewart in Dune.
Nice. Does Christmas Vacation count? It's inappropriate.
Sure.
Yeah, I'd say Christmas Vacation.
I mean, if you put it on, if you get the whole family around and you're going to watch a nice Christmas movie, probably the one you shouldn't put on is Die Hard, but I don't know that it's inappropriate, but there's a lot of violence in it. It's one of the great Christmas movies of all time. I'll also throw, I think it's a great Christmas watch, is Scrooge, because there's a lot of humor in there. It's a different spin on A Christmas Carol. I consider it an all-time Christmas classic.
Yeah, I think you could watch Scrooged with your family. You can't watch Bad Santa with your family.
You got to know everybody.
You got to make sure they're cool with it.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Kylo Ben writes, what's the next commentary and when are you guys doing it?
Dennis, got anything for us in that one? Yeah, people have been asking for I saw one of those memes where they said waiting for the Collider crew to do the Batman v Superman has me like this, and just see a skeleton like this.
And it would be Ultimate Edition, right?
Yeah, it's got to be the Ultimate
I
Edition.
finally watched it too. So
what do you think?
I thought that it made a lot more sense.
Right? It's a marked improvement. I couldn't believe how great it was compared to the theatrical.
It's true.
version.
And remember, I think that was the one. Oh, Campy as well too. But the two of us were the ones I think that liked it the most, the theatrical cut.
Right.
But just watching that movie, it makes so much more sense. You could see why. I still don't think that he should have shot for a 3-hour-long film. But I think that the 3-hour-long film that he did shoot makes so much more sense, and you're vested more in what is happening. It really, like the entire thing with the bullet, people are like, I was telling somebody that I just watched it, they're like, does it explain the bullet? It does.
Yeah, but it also does, it makes sense that they have Clark Kent go to Gotham, all these little things that really aren't little things when you're watching a movie, and it's called character development. You need to care about stuff that happens to Superman at the end of the movie. In this version, you do.
All I can say is thank goodness both their moms were named Martha. I mean, right? How lucky.
Yeah, that's my grandmother's name. All right. What's
Is it
next?
really?
Yeah.
Aaron Denman writes, I've never seen Blade Runner and noticed there's multiple versions of the film. Which one should I watch first?
Watch the final cut first, and then go back and watch the original release with the voiceover. Those are the two most marked different versions of that film. Yeah, definitely watch the final cut first, then go back and watch the original theatrical cut. So those are the two versions. But if you have to watch one, watch final cut first.
Mark Ellis, you've seen the movie many times. Which one do you like?
This is me signing off on whatever Jon Schnepp just said.
Right.
Yep, see the final cut.
Okay. Last one.
Oh, the pressure. Okay. Aaron A. Fry writes, what crossover that you know will never happen would you like to see happen?
Well, because we're living in the past here, I would have loved to have seen John Rambo and John Matrix from Commando. That would have been an amazing. I would have loved that film with those two working together. They would have taken on the
Why
world.
did that not happen?
Well, because you listen to Stallone interviews, the two of them, they're like good friends now, but they hated each other. During that because they were so competitive.
Yeah,
like,
there was that Terminator poster.
like
in one
so
of
many
the things,
times,
yeah.
like there was like they were battling for jobs and who was like the top action star. So they were not on the same page and they couldn't do a movie. In the age that we live in today with all the crossovers, they definitely would have been in a movie.
Last
together.
Action Hero. That's what I was thinking of. Stallone was playing the Terminator
Yes.
in the
Yes.
in the blockbuster.
So, what if in the Terminator lore, they're like in 2019 or whatever, after the apocalypse, and there's humans, they're sending back robots and stuff, and then there's bad humans, they're sending back robots to kill stuff. And in 1984, in Detroit, they start this
RoboCop.
secret OCP program to stop these robots from coming back, and you have RoboCops and Ed 209s that are going against the Terminators. Let's make that movie.
Well, that was a comic book they've
It was
done
a video game too.
Yeah, so it was a great comic book.
Yeah.
It was a great video game. We've been waiting. That should have happened before Alien versus Predator. It should have been RoboCop versus Terminator, and you could still do that. That's a great way to revive both of those franchises.
It'd be interesting. All right, that's our show for today. I'd like to thank everybody who helped us out, starting with Miss Wendy Lee. Where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Wendy Lee Zaney.
Right next to me is Jon Schnepp. John, where can they find you?
Hey, you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram. And later today, Collider Heroes, we're doing a massive recap of the San Diego Comic-Con Sweat Fest. So join us while we sweat it down with what happened over there.
All right. Baby Carrots, Mark Ellis, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter talking more about this genius RoboCop Terminator idea that nobody ever came up with before. Yeah, at Mark Ellis Live. You guys can get upcoming stand-up comedy tour dates at markellislive.com. I'll be in Sacramento and San Francisco this August. And Friday, we have the movie Trivia Schmodown. And what a matchup it is. There are two opponents going head-to-head for the #1 contender position. That's Clark Wolf versus Sam Levine. These two combined know everything about movies. Who can shine brightest when the lights are on them?
And the Movinator herself, Ashley Mova. Where can they find you?
Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat at Ashley Mova. Happy Wednesday, guys.
And for me, Kristian Harloff, you can find me on Jedi Council tomorrow. That is Thursday. We will have a very special episode tomorrow. As we talked, I think the entire regular council will be on tomorrow, so make sure you check that out. Like Mark mentioned, really big Schmodown match. Make sure that you guys check that out. And like I announced on my Twitter, I don't think I've done it on the air yet, we're going to be going to 2 Schmodown matches a week. We're going to be doing some team matches, and then the Ultimate Schmodown tournament starts pretty soon. 8-week tournament. The winner will play for the championship in December. Make sure you check that out as more information comes out. Thank you guys so much, and we'll catch you tomorrow.
Hey guys, if you like this video, click the thumbs up button. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It'll help you stay up to date with everything we've got going on here at Collider.